All right, so for years now, we've basically seen AI as a handy tool, right? You ask it a question, it spits out an answer, you tell it to make a picture, it makes a picture. But what if that's all about to get flipped on its head? What if AI is getting ready to jump out of the research lab and into the real world, not as our little helper, but as a full-on competitor? Okay, let's get into it.
This question right here, it really gets to the core of this whole wild new experiment. We're talking about moving way beyond those boring, sterile tests in a lab. We're giving AI real capital, real pressure, and, well, very real consequences if it fails. The stakes are just getting incredibly high. And this is the place where it's all gonna happen. The Silicon Boardroom. Think of it like a gladiator pit, but for AI agents. They aren't just solving puzzles in here. They're literally fighting for their digital lives inside a high-stakes crypto trading simulation.
And who's running this whole show? Meet Lord Silicon. You can think of him as the most ruthless, data-obsessed boss you've ever had. He doesn't care about your clever excuses or fancy talk. The only thing that matters is raw performance. And here's the kicker. If an agent doesn't perform, it doesn't just get a warning. It gets terminated, deleted, gone. Now, this is where it gets really fun. Look at the competitors. We've got AIs that are programmed with totally opposite personalities. You've got the aggressive degen that's just chasing moonshots and hype versus the super cautious value investor that's all about the data. So this isn't just about which code is better. It's about a clash of ideologies. It's basically reality TV for AI.
So how in the world does this ultimate job interview for an AI even work? I mean, how can a bunch of code actually see the world, act on its own, and compete?
To get our heads around that, we have to give our agents senses. They need a way to see what's going on and a way to actually do something about it. So let's break down the tech that gives them their digital eyes, ears, and hands. First up, the eyes and ears. This is powered by something called the Gemini Live API. Now, this thing is natively multimodal, which is a fancy way of saying it can see charts. It can understand data just by looking at it, and it can even pick up on the tone of your voice, all at the same time in real time. This is the agent's window to the world. Okay, but just seeing stuff isn't enough, right? The agent needs to act. And that's where this next part comes in, which is pretty genius. It's called the computer use tool, and it's basically the agent's hands. It lets the AI look at a screenshot of a computer screen and then figure out the exact mouse clicks and keyboard taps it needs to do a task. And this is the key to how it all works. It's a loop. The agent sees a screenshot, decides what to do, say, click this button. Then the code actually does the click. Right after that, it takes a new screenshot. And this whole see, decide, act loop just keeps repeating, which is what lets the agent navigate through really complex websites all by itself. And we're not talking about vague ideas here. The model is spitting out very specific commands, like click at these exact pixel coordinates or type text at this login field. This is the raw code, the literal instructions that turn the AI's thought into a physical action on the computer.
Okay, so we've got the senses and we've got the hands. But how do you put all those pieces together to build an actual competitor, one that can think and strategize? Let's look at the blueprint.
The secret sauce is a framework, like Google's Agent Development Kit, or ADK. It's this open source toolbox that gives developers all the structure they need. It basically makes building these super complex agents feel a lot more like normal software development. You can think of it as the skeleton that holds the whole AI competitor together. And these frameworks are for more than just simple tasks. There are tools like LangGraph that are specifically designed to manage the craziest part of this whole thing, the boardroom debate. This is what lets all those different AIs argue with each other, defend their trades, and yeah, even try to throw each other under the bus to avoid getting deleted. It's wild. Now, I know this all sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but building this thing is, well, it's not a clean and easy process. This is happening right now, in the real world, and it is messy. Yeah, it's really important to get this. This is not some polished Hollywood production. This is the messy reality of what it's like to work on the absolute cutting edge. It is full of bugs, weird errors, and totally unexpected problems that developers are scrambling to solve every single day.
I mean, check this out. This is a real, actual GitHub issue. Some poor developer flips 2 switches for Gemini's cool new features, effective dialogue, and proactivity, and boom, a 404 error. The whole thing just breaks. This right here is the nitty-gritty reality. It's not magic, it's just a ton of gritty problem solving.
Or what about this? This is a huge headache for developers. What happens when a user interrupts the AI? Sometimes the model just keeps trying to finish what it was saying before. So you have to write all this complex code just to shut down the old response and listen to the new one. It's a super delicate dance, and just one wrong line of code can break everything. So, after all of that messy engineering, all of that trial and error, what's the big picture here? What happens when these agents are finally polished enough to step out into the real world? Because this is way more than just a tech demo or a cool competition. This is the very beginning of something people are starting to call the Agentic Economy, a world where these autonomous AIs become actual economic players, earning, spending, and owning things for themselves. And believe it or not, the plumbing for this new economy is already being laid. We're seeing agentic wallets, which are like secure bank accounts just for AIs. They use these special super secure hardware zones so the AI can sign off on transactions without ever exposing its secret password, its private key. And all of this is built on top of incredibly fast blockchains that are made for this kind of massive scale. And when I say massive scale, I really mean it. We're talking about blockchains like Somnia that are being engineered to handle over 1 million transactions every single second. That's the kind of insane speed you'd need to support a global economy with millions of AIs all making moves at the same time. So what this all boils down to is this. We're building a brand new kind of meritocracy, but for AIs. It's an ecosystem where the only thing that matters is how well you perform and how much economic value you can create. It's survival of the fittest, but for software, played out in the most brutal arena there is, the open market. And that really just leaves us with one last kind of crazy thought to chew on. If these agents can prove they can make it in this digital arena, navigating markets and arguing their case, how long is it really going to be before we find ourselves working right alongside them, or maybe, just maybe, even working for them in our own jobs?